Welcome back to the Sharathon edition of the Coffee Hour, the extended edition today. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
We're having a great time talking with outstanding guests today, the Augsburg Confession, Bible study, all things that we get to talk about regularly here on the Coffee Hour and that we love sharing with you on the Coffee Hour. If you like the Coffee Hour and other programs here on KFUO, call and pledge your support today, 1-800-730-2727. Joining us by phone this morning, the Reverend Bart Day, President and CEO, Lutheran Church Extension Fund. We should also call it Lutheran Church Extension Fund because they like to do cool things too. Pastor Day, thanks so much for being our guest today.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Sarah. It's always great to be with you.
What is the work of Lutheran Church Extension Fund today?
Today, the work of Extension Fund is the same that it has been for 42 years. We're here to provide financial resources and other attendant services to congregations and schools and districts and RSOs and ministries of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, assuring that they have the finances necessary to grow the impact of ministry opportunities in their community.
Why are partnerships so important in this work?
Well, I would say that very little gets done, not only with LCEF, but anywhere in the church without partnerships. No one really has the ability and all the resources and acumen necessary to usually accomplish tasks, particularly around those of sharing the gospel to the ends of the earth. So at LCF, we rely on a ton of partnerships, particularly with our investors who are really faithful stewards of their money and entrust us with a portion of the gifts that God has given to them so that we can then use those monies to loan to the church. And of course, whether it's through ministry support or loans, all of that stuff happens with partnerships that are occurring within congregations and ministries and within the staff at LCEF. So, and likewise, our partnership with KFUO. So we love being a partner with all of you and supporting the great work of proclaiming the gospel that all of you do. So I think partnerships are just pretty integral to life and work in general, and we're very blessed to have many great partners and to get to partner with other great folks, including KFUO.
And we love sharing those stories here on the Coffee Hour. It's one of the fun things we get to do is tell some of the stories, especially some of the stories from that you featured in Interest Time as well. What do those partnerships with LCEF look like? That you share those in Interest Time, and we get to extend that story a little bit and have some of those folks on the Coffee Hour and share their stories of what it means to be an investor or someone who's going through a project and has that support of Lutheran Church Extension Fund as well. Now, you talked about investors, but there are a whole range of things that LCEF does. Our family, we are investors, including the Young Investors Club. I think we started that within weeks, maybe a month or less of when our son was born, and using that to help teach him about stewardship, but all the way up to other things like the mortgage or the church worker rostered church worker loans and things like that as well. But then there are all kinds of other resources available and ministry support that LCEF offers. Tell us about that. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those. Providing the bylaws talk about us providing financial services and then other ministry-related services. So we do have a department called Ministry Support that is really out there working with ministries. We do everything from things around stewardship training, so old programs that have been around like Consecrated Stewards that people know, work like Laborers for Christ, which is still active, men and women, predominantly retired, who will come on site and actually work on construction projects, all the way to other things now really around congregations and ministries thinking through their mission, vision, strategic planning, fund development. All of these kind of services are also a part of ministry support. And we've been very blessed to do some work in the past year with KFUO, I think, to help all of you think about the strategy of the future, and particularly to work with you, I think, around development and how one develops donors and resources within an organization, which is something we do in ministry support, not only around stewardship, but of course we actually help ministries do capital campaigns and funding of projects that they do. And so the development work looks different in different settings, but that's been a great partnership, I think, that we've had with KFUO over the past year.
Can you tell us more about how this partnership between LCEF and KFUO is a shared partnership, a shared mission together, that we work together to share the good news of Jesus?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're kind of narrow in kind of being able to provide funding and specific resources maybe around those tangential things of stewardship or development. But you guys are the very platform that is then able to take that and then do the work of sharing the gospel. LCF's our kind of primary vision is that we are growing ministry opportunities. And we're not really directly doing, in a very narrow, strict sense, ministry at LCEF. But we really believe we're here to partner and facilitate and grow those opportunities with others. So I think when we do those kind of things around development with KFUO, it's really enabling you through donor development to then be able to do your core work, which is actually proclaiming the gospel and delivering this great content via the media to the church and to the unchurched so that they're actually able to hear the gospel. So we see those as great partnerships at LCEF where we're really kind of fueling and facilitating ministries doing the core work of proclaiming the gospel.
What are some of the new stories or the stories that really demonstrate what these programs at LCEF do and help ministries accomplish that or live out their mission? What are some of the stories today? I mean, I know KFUO is one of those partners, but who are some of the other partners or their stories?
Well, let me just say this, because when you talk about today, I think you just have to acknowledge that the whole pandemic and COVID is a really unique time in the church. And so LCEF, like a lot of other organizations, really was invited to really pivot and change a bit away from our normal work. And so we've had borrowers who have really needed financial help and support, and some in pretty extraordinary ways. And LCEF has been able to do that. So we've partnered directly with our borrowers in many cases to put them on temporary interest only or actually to defer loan payments for a period of time to allow them respite, particularly those who had early childhood centers or other attendant ministries outside of just the congregation. We partnered with the LCMS and their expanded now Soldiers of the Cross. I think they're calling it Amplified. We were able to put $1 million into that pot to really directly allow districts to support church workers, whether rostered or not, who had real-life financial need because of the pandemic, whether it was lost employment or lost revenue through the church. And groups like Ministry Support and our just COVID response team, we've provided a lot of webinars like on early childhood education. In fact, we have a new one that's going to be coming out around from the local St. Louis SBA around the PPP loans, and particularly the forgiveness of those and how now those who receive those dollars actually assure that they are free money and not loans that have to be repaid. So just simply around the whole COVID response, I think we've really tried to step up. There's been some little ministry moments that have been going out, just practical tips for pastors, how to remain connected with their congregations. We provided some audio-visual equipment to congregations so that they could actually stream services. So those are kind of the stories right now. They're a little untypical just because we're in an untypical time with the COVID. But again, LCF has been blessed with the resources from our faithful investors to do some really extraordinary things to really help our borrowers along. And we're seeing great stories that people are recovering. They're feeling like they're starting to come out of the other side. No, there's still lots of uncertainty, and there could be more needs in the future, but right now we feel like we've done a great job supporting the church, in particular our borrowers.
What do you see as hopeful looking forward to the future, working together between KFUO and LCEF? What is your outlook for the future between these organizations?
There's just about a minute left.
Well, I would say that the sponsorships, I mean, we love sponsoring the things that you do. We love supporting the programs that you guys have on the air. So I think whatever we can do there is a great way to support that, to support you during the Sharathon, to assure that you guys are generating dollars that you need so that you can do your work. And then I think any of these other resources that we have in ministry support that can really help you guys think strategically about the future and how you plan and how that mission and vision is articulated and shared. Those are the kind of resources we have that we'd love to partner with you with in the future.
Yeah, we love sharing Sharper Iron and sharing that support that you have for Sharper Iron. Pastor Apple shares that every day when he's on Sharper Iron. That love sharing and appreciate the support that you've provided for Sharper Iron. Pastor Dave, thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour and for sharing about the work of Lutheran Church Extension Fund and the wonderful partnership.
My pleasure. You guys have a great day and blessings on the Sharathon.
Thank you. It is Sharathon 2020, and you too, like Lutheran Church Extension Fund, can support the work of KFUO, Coffee Hour, Sharper Iron, any of the programs. We have chapel coming up in just a moment. 1-800-730-2727, 1-800-730-2727. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.